Hi everyone, it's PTB Spotter here, and today I'm at Edinburgh Park. We're going to be seeing services from Scotrail, maybe one service by LNER. So yeah, let's get into the video. Arriving in now is the 1314 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane. And it's 385110. Departing out now is the 1314 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane. Arriving in now is the other 1314 Scotrail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley.
Is formed of 6 carriages.
And it's 334032. We will get the rear when it departs. Departing out now is the other 1314 Scotrail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley. Three 34039 on the rear. Arriving in now is the 1321 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central.
This train is formed of 6 carriages.
And there's 334029. And 334006. Surprise. Arriving in now is the 1318 Scotrail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley, which is 385026. And 385042. And out now is the 1321 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central. And departing out now as well is the 1318 Scotrail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley. Passing through now is the 1325 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Glasgow Queen Street. And passing through at the same time is also the 1325 Scotrail service from Glasgow Queen Street to Edinburgh Waverley.
Please stand clear of the platform edge. Fast train approaching. Please stand clear of the platform edge. Fast train approaching.
385118. And 385123. And the one to Glasgow is 35103 and 35109. Passing through there is a Scotrail service 174.51. I have a... Oh, this is meant to be the delayed 1305 Scotrail service from Inverness to Edinburgh Waverley, and it's running about 24 minutes late. Arriving in now is the 1338 Scotrail service from Bathgate to Edinburgh Waverley, and it is 334018. And the rear being 334019. Departing out now is the 1338 Scotrail service from Bathgate to Edinburgh Waverley. Arriving in now is the 1343 Scotrail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley.
Edinburgh. This train is formed of 6 carriages.
Three 85007. Wait, no, can't get that yet. And 385025. Passing through there was the 1341 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Inverness, which was 43152 and 43182. Departing out now is the 1343 Scotrail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley. Arriving in now is the 1345 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane. And it is.
This is a customer information arrangement. Please be advised that Scotrail does not allow any scooters
385042.
on trains. Thank you.
And just as I can see it, it's and 385026. Departing out now is the 1345 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane.
The next train at platform 1 will be the 13.
Arriving in now is the 1349 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central. 334039. And the rear is 334032. Arriving in at the same time is the 1350 Scotrail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley. This one is 334007. And departing out over there is the... I'll get that one in a minute. And the rear is 334036. And departing out over there is the 1349 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central. And we'll see that one depart out in a minute. Departing out now is the 1350 Scotrail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley. Passing through now is the 1352 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Glasgow Queen Street. (385-123) and (385-118). And passing through now is the 1354 Scotrail service from Glasgow Queen Street to Edinburgh Waverley.
Please stand clear of the platform edge. Fast train approaching.
Ooh. (385-113) and (385-114). Arriving in now is the 1413 Scotrail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley. And it is 385-120. Arriving in now is the 1412 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane. (385-025) and (385-007). Departing out now is the 1413 Scotrail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley. And departing out at the same time is the 1412 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane. Arriving in now is the 1419 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central.
Hindland, Valmuir, Dumbarton East, Dumbarton Central.
And passing through now is the 1417 Scotrail service from Aviemore to Edinburgh Waverley.
Carriages. Please stand clear of the platform edge. Fast train approaching.
17404, and that got cancelled between Inverness and Aviemore due to a signalling problem. And on the 334 is on this one is 334019 and 334018. Departing out now is the 1419 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central. Arriving in now is the 1421 Scotrail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley. 334035 And the rear is 334011. Departing out now is the 14:20:21 Scotrail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley. Passing through now is the 13:25 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Glasgow Queen Street.
Fast train approaching.
(385.114) and 385.113, and passing through now is the 13:26 Scotrail service from Glasgow Queen Street to Edinburgh Waverley.
Please stand clear of the platform edge. Fast train approaching.
(385.108) and 385.116. Passing through now is the
Please stand clear of the platform edge. Fast train approaching.
passing through. Okay, passing through there was the 14:38 Scotrail service, actually on an ECS to Glasgow Queen Street. Arriving in now is the 14:43 Scotrail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley. And it is 334037. Departing out now is the 14:43 Scotrail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley. Arriving in now is the delayed 14:42 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane.
1016. Route sorted. See it, sorted.
This train is coming in about 5 minutes late,
The
due
train
to a
arriving
late
at
running train being in front of him.
Delayed 14:42 service to Dunblane.
And it's 385.120.
Carriages. Train arriving at platform 1 is the 14:46 service to Edinburgh. This train has warned all 4 carriages.
And arriving in at the same time is the the 14:46 Scotrail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley. 385.121.
This is a customer information arrangement. Please advise that Scotrail does not allow e-scooters in stations or on trips. Thank you.
And departing out at the same time is the delayed 14:42 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane. Departing out now is the 14:46 Scotrail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley. Arriving in now is the 14:49 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central. 334011 on the front. The rear is 334035. Departing out now is the 1449 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central. Passing through very slowly is the 1453 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Glasgow Queen Street. 385116 and 385108. Passing through now is passing through there was the 1454 Scotrail service from Glasgow Queen Street to Edinburgh Waverley, which that one was 385103 and 385109. Arriving in now is the 1515 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane. And it is 385121. Arriving in now is the 1513 Scotrail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley. 334022 and 385030. 334030, sorry about that. And as I can hear, departing out now is the 1515 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane. Departing out now is the 1513 Scotrail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley. Arriving in now is the
train arriving at platform 2
is the 1519 Scotrail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley, which is 385110. And as I go up here, arriving in now is the 1519 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central. I'll get the numbers on that when it departs. Passing through now is the 1523 Scotrail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Glasgow Queen Street, and is 385103 and 385109. And passing through is the other 1523 ScotRail service from Glasgow Queen Street to Edinburgh Waverley. (385-118) and (385-123). Arriving in now is the 1531 ScotRail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Bathgate. And it is 334037. Departing out now is the 1531 ScotRail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Bathgate. Departing out now is the 15 17 ScotRail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley, and departing out now is the 1519 ScotRail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central, and it's 334007 and 334006. Arriving in now is the 1539 ScotRail service from Bathgate to Edinburgh Waverley.
When the train arrives, please use all available doors for safe and quick departure. Train doors close 30 seconds before its booked departure. Thank you.
Front is
Arriving at platform 1 is the
334020.
Edinburgh. This train is formed of 6 carriages.
And the rear is 334009. Departing out now is the 1539 ScotRail service from Bathgate to Edinburgh Waverley. Arriving in now is the 1543 ScotRail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley. Catch that after that one. And 385026.
Train arriving at platform 2 is the 1544 service to Dunblane. This train is
And 385042. Departing out now is the 1543 ScotRail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley. And that one over there is the 1544 ScotRail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane, which we'll get it departing out shortly. And there it goes. Departing out now is the 1544 ScotRail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane. And that one is 385110. Arriving in now is the 1548 ScotRail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley. 334028 on the front. 334002 on the rear.
The the next train at platform 2 will be the 1550.
Departing out now is the 1548 ScotRail service from Helensburgh Central to Edinburgh Waverley. Arriving in now is the 1550 ScotRail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central. 334030. And the rear is 334022. Departing out now is the 1550 ScotRail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Helensburgh Central. Passing through now is the 1556 ScotRail service from Glasgow Queechy to Edinburgh Waverley.
Platform Edge, fast train approaching.
And that was 385113 and 385114. See if we can get passing through now is the 1523 ScotRail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Glasgow Queen Street. Three eight five one two three and 385118. Driving in now is the 1609 ScotRail service from Garthcaden to Edinburgh Waverley. 334016. And 334110. Departing out now is the 1609 ScotRail service from Garthcaden to Edinburgh Waverley. Arriving in now is the 1613 ScotRail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane. And that one there is 385042. And the rear is 385026. Arriving in now is the 1613 ScotRail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley. And this one here is 385007. And 385025. Oh, and I can hear departing out now. Departing out now is the 1613 ScotRail service from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunblane. So off goes the Dunblane service. Departing out now is the 1613 ScotRail service from Dunblane to Edinburgh Waverley.
The next train up that will do will be the 1617 service to Midday, calling at...
And that'll be our final train of the video, so if you've enjoyed it, thank you very much for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye guys.